Welcome to the Kyero.com Spanish Property Podcast, where we interview real people who recently purchased a home in Spain. They tell us what worked, what didn't, and what they'd do differently next time. I'm Beth Davison, and today I'm speaking with Duncan, originally from Exeter, who purchased a 4-bedroom townhouse in San Isidro, Alicante. Just wait until you hear about Duncan's decision to relocate permanently, along with his wife, to rural Spain, and how for them, it's all about enjoying an outdoor lifestyle with much better weather. Duncan worked with Interproperty Sales and Lettings to find his dream home in Spain. Check out the show notes at kyero.com/podcast to find links and resources mentioned in this episode. Okie dokie, well, if you start by letting me know what type of property you have and where, and maybe also what you do for a job.
Oh, right, okay. I've got a 4-bedroom terraced townhouse in San Isidro, and I am actually retired, full-time retirement.
Fantastic. So it's all quite new if it was the last month. Why did you choose that area of Spain to buy in?
Well, basically, I've been out in Spain first on a holiday capacity and then semi-permanent and then obviously permanent for the last sort of 18 years. We had an apartment over in Villamartin for around about 15 years, which used as a holiday apartment. And then when I retired, I decided to come over here, live over here permanently. We sold the apartment in Villamartin and bought a house over there in the same area because we liked the area. I used to the area, it was familiar, and we had friends over there. Lived here now in Spain for 2 years, permanently. We found basically that we wanted somewhere a bit more authentic Spanish. So we decided to move away from the urbanization areas and go into a Spanish village. We found San Isidro because we like the area because it's very convenient for everything. Within 20 minutes you have Alicante Airport. You're on the main line train station here, so you're half an hour into Alicante itself. Or the other way, you've got Murcia and Elche. You're also in between two motorways, the AP7 and the A7 either side. So basically you've got motorways to get you anywhere in Spain, basically. So it's a really good sort of hub as well for travelling around Spain.
Fantastic, but without feeling too built up, it sounds like it's perfect. So when you were doing your first bit of research into this new property, how did it all start for you? What did you do?
Well, basically what happened was we had a few false starts. At first, my wife wanted to go into the country area, into El Campo. And we looked at a house in a place called Rafal, which is in the same sort of area, but a bit further towards the coast, which was like an old Spanish townhouse, and which needed a lot of money spending on it. And so we actually were very close to completing on that and paying a deposit. But then we had a builder in to look at it, and I found out it had lots of asbestos in the roofing and so forth. And so he advised us to basically walk away from it because it was going to cost too much money to get all the asbestos removed. So that fell through. And then we then looked at El Campo, the Hondan Valley, which is a really nice mountainous area, the valley in between, called the Hondan Valley. And there's two really nice villages there called Hondan La Frey and Hondan La Neve. And we looked at sort of country houses in that area. And again, we found one, we really liked it, and we actually put deposit down on the actual house. And we then discovered it couldn't produce all the paperwork for us and so forth. So we had to pull out of that one, and we got a deposit back happily, because obviously couldn't produce the paperwork. And then we were stuck really, because we sold our house in Villamartin to some family that you can use it as a holiday home, and we had to be out by a certain date, so we were stuck. So we were thinking then really what we're going to do. So we'd actually passed through this town, San Isidro, on the way to where the country house was. We passed it all the time on the way there when we were looking at viewing it and so forth and getting things organised over there. And we said, that's a really nice town, isn't it? It's quite nice. So when we looked through your website, Kyero or another, and Rightmove and Place in the Sun or whatever, then we found this house in San Isidro, which was on the market for €99,000, and then it was reduced to 85. And we had a look at it, and we liked it, and put a deposit down. That was it.
Fantastic. So did you go in with a budget in mind? You mentioned kind of money there. Did you know what you wanted to spend exactly, or were you quite flexible?
Our budget was around about €90,000.
Okay, great. So when that price dropped, it was perfect for you.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And basically what the problem as well is over here is that if you want a mortgage, it's much more difficult to borrow now from the banks. And they're very, very particular. I mean, that's the other reason why we couldn't go with the house in the country was because basically, because it's a kind of class of a country house or rustic property, banks may lend 70%.
Right.
More value to mortgage to value the house. And the problem there again is that we knew that even though the house was on the market for quite a big price, I think it's like 75,000 euros, the house wasn't valued at 75,000. We knew that basically because the end there were always problems with paperwork and whatever and the legality of it, because it had a casita at the back, which we knew that was a legal build.
Right.
Even though it was advertised as a 3-bedroom house, really because the casita was actually illegal, it was only a 2-bedroom house. So we knew it wouldn't value up. So we would be very difficult to get mortgage on our property. So that's the reason why we pulled out that one. So yeah, mortgage is very hard to get. So we thought, well, where we are now is classed as urban, is in a village. With urban properties, you can get your residence, which we are, you can get up to 80% mortgages.
How much did you know already? Because you seem very knowledgeable about the property buying process in Spain. Obviously, you'd already done it because of your first place. But how much of this did you get help with and how much of it was you already knowing things?
Well, we researched it online. We knew about it, obviously, from previous experiences. Researched about it online or whatever. We had a solicitor from our previous encounters or whatever, and we actually asked her for what costs would be and so forth. So we had a good idea of actually how much it was all going to cost us. Yeah.
And so for the house you eventually went for, was that an agent, the other two agents you didn't find through Kyero? And then, am I right in saying that?
Yes, the third one, the one we bought the house through, was through Kyero. It's been more than helpful and helped us through the process because, again, there's a problem with this house. When we actually came to checking all the deeds on this house, I mean, this is what you expect. It's quite a modern house. It's only 15 years old.
So if you were going to do it all again, what would you do differently?
If you're a cash buyer and if you had the cash and you just come in and pay cash, then it's obviously a lot easier because getting a mortgage and so forth is a lot more difficult over here than it used to be. So the mortgage process tends to slow things down and obviously increase your costs. If you have to pay taxes and commissions on your mortgage and so forth. So that slows things down. B, I wouldn't pay any deposits at all until you have the deeds in front of you and they have been checked by your own solicitor. So you'd make probably a survey for an older property. Certainly no independent solicitor. Don't pay any money out at all until all that's been done. I research your areas. Obviously, make sure you watch is where you want to be. Actually write down exactly what your needs are, short term, medium term, long term. I mean, we're retired, and obviously we're going to live in Spain probably, hopefully for the rest of our lives. So we needed somewhere as well, obviously we was in the village, so we could walk to the shops, walk to the local bars, and so forth, whatever, without getting the car out, which is a big consideration for us as well, and obviously handy for the airport and whatever, and for hospitals, chemists, doctors and so forth. So yes, that's the three things there. Obviously make sure the house is suitable for you. I mean, obviously, again, what you're going to need to be. You're going to have people staying with you. So how big a house do you want? Obviously, looking at the sun aspect, I mean, again, the house that we bought in Villamartin, we didn't realise, kind of a bit naively, it was north-facing, so really you don't get any sun in the winter at all in the house. So it's very cold and very dark. So make sure that you actually you're buying a house that's actually either south-facing or west-facing, so you get sun all year round.
There's so much to think about that I wouldn't have thought about.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, because obviously when we sold the house, I mean, we realised that, when we sold the house in Villamartin, we were on with various agents. So we've been on with some English agents, estate agents, Scandinavian estate agents. And we had lots of people viewing the house, and we thought, okay, so a lot of Scandinavians viewing it, and Northern Europeans viewing the house. And we thought, why aren't they going for it? And obviously realised that actually what they come over here for is the winter sun. They want sun in the winter. And the house obviously didn't have that. Didn't have winter sun. So, again, so you got to think about, if you're going to sell it, so you're buying a house thinking, if you do sell it, is it a sellable, prospect as well? Why, would somebody buy it if they're going to, you're going to sell it. So
yeah,
you've got to
totally.
think long term as well.
And you mentioned having people to stay. Is that something that happens a lot for you? Have you had people over to visit?
Well, yes, we have people. Yeah, I've got family, and my wife's got family and so forth. So yes, we have people and friends and whatever. We have people to stay, whatever. Yeah, and obviously we're very near to the airport now. We're 20 minutes from Alicante airport, so that's great.
Great stuff. And how many bed was the place you've got now?
Four bedrooms.
Lovely. Yeah, so lots of space to kind of share it with other people. So you've had some difficulties, but would you still recommend it?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think we found as it happens, all these things are for a reason. I think now we've actually found the house that really suits us, and and so far we're very happy with it. So yeah, so don't rush into anything. Don't rush into anything. Really research properly and really find a property that really suits you. And meets your needs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And so what does a typical day look like for you in Spain?
Well, we're busy sorting out at the moment.
Yes, of course, you've been snowed under. What will it hopefully look like for you?
Well, the routine we had when we in the old house, we used to exercise in the morning. I used to go cycling, my wife used to go jogging, and we'd probably go down to the beach or whatever, have a walk around there, have a coffee, whatever, do a bit of shopping, probably come back and do a bit of walk dogs and so forth, whatever. And basically it's very, very similar to sort of like you have in the UK, really. But obviously, you've got the sun. The option there. It's, you do exercise, you go out for a stroll, have a coffee, whatever. But you cook indoors. So you cook in the house rather than go for meals and things. So you have barbecues, or whatever. Because obviously you have barbecues, or whatever. Yes, you're outside and enjoy the sun, or whatever. But at the end of the day, the lifestyle really is very similar to the UK.
But what is your favourite part of the Spanish culture and the Spanish lifestyle?
Oh, right, okay. Just basically the weather. The fact obviously now, we had a lot of rain in the last couple of days, but it's still around some 15, 18 degrees at the moment.
Lovely.
It's sun shining today.
It's snowing here, which should make you feel a bit better.
Yes, you're looking out there now and you've got mountains in front of me and so forth, whatever, and it's just, So, the outdoor lifestyle is lovely. The weather is lovely.
Perfect. I think that's basically all of my questions. But thank you. You've given us loads of information and advice, which is perfect. Thank you so much for chatting to me. I hope it keeps going well now that you've got over all your hurdles. I hope it's going to be great.
Hopefully now it should be fine.
Great. Cheers, Duncan. Have a lovely day. Thank you for listening, and thanks to Duncan for sharing his experiences, and to Interproperty Sales and Lettings for their help to make this episode possible. I particularly like that even after 2 houses falling through, Duncan wasn't put off, proving that persistence and confidence are 2 key ingredients when searching for your dream home. If you liked what you heard, you can search this agent's properties and more on Kyero.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. This podcast is produced by Kyero.com, and our mission is to connect you with estate agents and properties throughout Spain. Whether your dream home is a rustic farmhouse surrounded by olive groves or a lock-up and leave apartment on the seafront, you'll find everything you need at Kyero.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd really appreciate your 5-star rating on iTunes. It helps us reach and connect more people with their dream home in Spain. And whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways we can help you. Ask a question by emailing podcasts@Kyero.com. We'll try and answer them all in an upcoming Q&A episode. Get a location guide by emailing podcasts@Kyero.com. We'll reply with the latest data and information on the areas you're interested in. Calculate your budget. Simply visit Kyero.com/budget. Enter 2 numbers and you're done. Be our guest. If you've already purchased your home in Spain, we would love for you to share your story on the podcast. Just email podcasts@Kyero.com and we'll take it from there. Tune in next week when I speak with Steve. He purchased a villa complete with pool and sea view in Badar, Almeria. And I can't wait to tell you about how his enthusiasm and bravery in just saying yes led to the home of his dreams. I'm Beth Davison, and you've been listening to the Kyero.com Spanish Property Podcast. I'll see you next week.